Have you ever wondered if there's a connection between what you eat and how you learn? More specifically, can gluten affect your brain functions and learning abilities? Let's begin by understanding what gluten is. Gluten is a type of protein found in grains like wheat, barley, and rye. It's what gives bread its chewy texture. But it's not just in bread. Gluten is also found in a wide range of foods, from pasta to cereals and sauces. But what does this have to do with learning and brain functions? Well, there's an increasing body of scientific evidence suggesting a possible link. A study published in the Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery and Psychiatry, for example, found that people with celiac disease, an autoimmune disorder triggered by gluten, performed worse on cognitive tests than those without the condition. Another study, published in Alimentary Pharmacology and Therapeutics, revealed that a gluten-free diet improved cognitive function in people with non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Now, it's important to note that these studies don't mean that gluten will necessarily harm your brain or learning abilities. After all, many people consume gluten without any apparent issues. However, the research does suggest that for some individuals, particularly those with certain conditions like celiac disease or non-celiac gluten sensitivity, gluten might have a negative impact on cognitive functions. So, it's not as simple as saying gluten is bad for the brain. Instead, the relationship between gluten and the brain appears to be complex and influenced by various factors, including individual health status and genetic predispositions. But how exactly does gluten interfere with our learning and brain functions? Let's dive deeper. It's not just about feeling bloated or having a stomachache. Gluten can potentially mess with your brain. Indeed, the effects of gluten on the brain are profound and far-reaching. Let's take a deep dive into the science behind these connections. Research has shown that gluten can have a substantial impact on children with ADHD. A study published in the Journal of Attention Disorders found that a gluten-free diet significantly improved the symptoms of children with ADHD, suggesting that gluten might be more than just a dietary concern for these kids. Brain fog, a common complaint among individuals who consume gluten, is another concern. Brain fog is a form of cognitive impairment that can include problems with focus, understanding, and memory. In a study published in Alimentary Pharmacology and Therapeutics, researchers found that people with non-celiac gluten sensitivity reported significant improvement in their brain fog symptoms when they switched to a gluten-free diet. The effects of gluten go beyond ADHD and brain fog. Gluten has also been linked to autoimmune encephalopathy, a condition in which the immune system mistakenly targets the brain, leading to rapidly progressive cognitive decline. A case study in the Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery and Psychiatry presented a patient whose autoimmune encephalopathy symptoms improved dramatically with a gluten-free diet. And let's not forget about learning disorders in children. A study published in Pediatrics found a correlation between gluten consumption and learning difficulties in children, suggesting that gluten may interfere with cognitive function and learning. The neurological implications of gluten consumption are vast and can affect individuals differently. Some might experience subtle cognitive changes, while others may suffer from severe neurological conditions. The science is complex, and the research is ongoing. But one thing is clear: gluten affects more than just our digestive system. It can also have a significant impact on our brain function and overall cognitive health. Now that we know how gluten can affect our brains, what foods should we be cautious of? Gluten is like a culinary chameleon. It's in more foods than you might realize. The common culprits are bread, pasta, and cereals, but gluten also lurks in unexpected places like sauces, and even processed meats. It's not just the obvious wheat-based foods, but also those containing barley and rye. For those who need to steer clear of gluten, fear not. There are a plethora of safe and nutritious alternatives out there. Instead of wheat-based bread, consider bread made from gluten-free grains like rice, corn, or quinoa. The same goes for pasta. Rice, corn, and quinoa pasta are just as delicious and easy to prepare. You can also explore the world of gluten-free grains more broadly. Buckwheat, millet, and amaranth are all excellent and versatile options. You might be wondering about your favorite baked goods. Well, you'll be pleased to know that baking without gluten is not only possible but can yield some truly scrumptious results. Almond flour, coconut flour, and gluten-free oat flour are some of the options available for you to experiment with. Cider is naturally gluten-free, so you can still enjoy a drink without the gluten fog. But remember, not everything labeled as gluten-free is created equal. Some gluten-free foods are heavily processed and lack nutrients. So, always check the label. Look for whole foods and avoid those with a long list of unpronounceable ingredients. reading food labels becomes a crucial habit when navigating a gluten-filled world. Gluten can be hidden under different names, such as malt, brewer's yeast, or wheat starch. So keep an eye out for these tricky terms. Knowing which foods to avoid is a good start, but what else can we do to prevent the negative effects of gluten? That's what we'll delve into in the next segment, where we'll discuss prevention strategies and related diseases. So, stay tuned. Preventing the ill effects of gluten is more than just a dietary switch. It's a lifestyle change. You see, minimizing the negative impact of gluten involves a comprehensive approach. This includes maintaining a balanced diet, regular exercise, and staying mindful of what we consume. Now let's talk about the balanced diet part. It's not just about avoiding gluten-rich foods, but also about incorporating healthier alternatives. Foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains that are naturally gluten-free can provide the essential nutrients that our body needs. And of course, staying hydrated is key. Next up is regular exercise. Physical activity helps in maintaining a healthy digestive system and strengthens the immune system. It's about choosing an activity you enjoy, whether that's jogging, swimming, yoga, or even dancing, and making it a part of your routine. Now onto the diseases related to gluten consumption. First, we have celiac disease, an autoimmune disorder where the ingestion of gluten leads to damage in the small intestine. Symptoms can range from digestive problems to fatigue and even bone or joint pain. Then there's non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or NCGS. This is when individuals who do not have celiac disease still experience symptoms like bloating, diarrhea, and abdominal pain after eating gluten. It's still a bit of a medical mystery, but research is ongoing to understand it better. It's important to remember that a gluten-free diet is not a fad or a weight loss trick. For those with celiac disease or NCGS, it's a necessity. But even if you don't have these conditions, reducing gluten can still have benefits. It can lead to a healthier gut, clearer skin, and improved brain function. Do keep in mind, though, that everyone's body is different. What works for one person might not work for another, so always consult with a healthcare professional before making any drastic changes to your diet or lifestyle. Gluten might seem like a common ingredient, but for some, it can lead to serious health problems. So let's make informed choices, shall we? Let's take a moment to summarize what we've learned about gluten and its effect on our brains and bodies. We've delved into the complexities of gluten, a protein found commonly in wheat, barley, and rye. We've discovered that while gluten is a staple for many, it can also be a source of health concerns for others. Our journey into the gluten-brain connection has revealed some intriguing insights. Gluten can have an impact on brain functions, potentially leading to conditions such as ADHD, brain fog, and autoimmune encephalopathy, as well as learning disorders in children. It's crucial to remember that everyone's response to gluten is unique and not everyone will experience these effects. We've also explored the vast landscape of gluten-filled foods, from the obvious culprits like bread and pasta to the less obvious ones like sauces and processed foods. We've shown that safe alternatives do exist, with a wide range of gluten-free options available today. From fruits and vegetables to meat and dairy, there are plenty of nutritious choices that don't contain gluten. Next, we've discussed prevention strategies to mitigate the negative effects of gluten. Simple steps like reading food labels carefully, choosing gluten-free options, and maintaining a balanced diet can go a long way. We've also touched upon related diseases including celiac disease and non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or NCGS. These conditions can cause a range of symptoms from digestive issues to neurological complications and require medical diagnosis and intervention. Remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand about our food, the better choices we can make for our health and well-being. This video has provided a starting point, but there's always more to learn. So keep researching, asking questions, and seeking advice from health professionals. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Hit the bell button, subscribe, like, and share. Your engagement helps us continue to bring you content that matters. Thanks for watching.